some, and on this first homework, you'll notice there's a 1 in the upper right-hand corner up here, so you know it's homework number 1, and you'll see that for each homework it has a number. So it's really easy for you to figure out, like, well, I'm missing number 4 and 5, and you were trying to figure out what worksheets 4 and 5. You don't really need to look at all the names and things like that. We're going to have like part 1, part 2, part 3. It's easier just to look at, this is 4 and 5, find the worksheet that has a 4, find the worksheet that has 5, and that will let you know which one you're missing or something like that. If you're ever absent, back here in the corner, these color folders over here, back here, look over here. This is where they will be hanging. This one will be Algebra 1, so this one's Monday through Friday. So since today's Tuesday, you'll find homework number 1 in this folder. I'll have some labels on here later. But if you're absent, come in the next day, you can just grab what you missed, or you can print it off Schooloo before you come back and do it. That's fine too. So I just want to go over just a few, after teaching this, a few mistakes I commonly see after doing it for, 10, 15 years or whatever. You kind of see the same things over and over. So I'll talk about just those and not everything. Okay? Now, something that will really save you is that if you're plugging something in or substituting something in, use parentheses. It seems like extra writing, and something like this that's very short, you maybe don't need to do it. But when you start getting these really big problems, the parentheses can really help. Okay? So, not necessarily all the time, but when they get more complicated, it definitely is useful. You're allowed to use a calculator, homework, quizzes, tests, final. So you should never miss any arithmetic problem for the rest of your math career. No matter what you take, you have a calculator available to you, you're allowed to use. So if you've got like 0 here, not negative 12, you probably want to double check that, right? Because the algebra is really just plugging it in. After you plug it in, it's arithmetic only, it's that order of operations, and you can always check it in the calculator. Okay? You notice I'm putting equal signs and boxing your answer. Please do the same thing. You can if you want to. Just eventually probably not use them anymore. The question was if you can use those tree branches and do it that way, that's fine. Yeah, I'm on the school of thought that you can do this different ways and it's still correct. So on this you have to have the same answer, of course, but there's a lot of different ways to do things. So yeah, A is negative 4. I probably just do that. Just be careful. You notice I'm using color. You're allowed to use that as well. That's negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Right. Negative times negative is positive. And just bring down the negative 4. I'm going to use equal signs. And 16 minus 4 is 12. So, okay. Yeah, so it pays to slow down, check your work as you're going along. It doesn't impress anyone that you say unfinished first and we go and check it and you have 10 of them wrong. You didn't finish anything first. You went the fastest, you got the most wrong maybe, but you don't get prizes for that. And nobody says, you turn your test in first, you get the most points. It doesn't matter. Okay, this isn't a race on the track who crosses the finish line first. It's who has them the most accurately done. So keep that in mind what the goal is here. The accuracy, not speed. Alright, so I think now, when we get down to let's say, like number 7, just be a little more careful as we get more things to plug in. C is 3. Make sure you plug everything into the right place. It's very easy to accidentally plug things in the wrong place. So is this correct so far? What's wrong with it? What is 8 equal? Negative 6. But you see how easy it is to look at that and say, oh yeah, that's good. So we haven't even done any math yet. We just put the wrong number there. So those are the kind of things that we see that go wrong. It's not, you can do all the multiplying multiplying, dividing, subtracting right, but if you just put the wrong number there, so when you're checking your work, that's something you want to check for. Did I put the right number for each variable, or did I accidentally slip up? You know what? And that happens to everyone, even me. So don't assume you're the first person that's not going to make a mistake on that. Check it. People actually almost always, people that go back and check their work do better. There's a reason for that. They're not smarter because they get it right the first time. They're smart because they go back and they fix mistakes wrong, right? So that's why they have fewer. Some people think the smart people in math, they just get all the right answers the first time, and that's why they're just good at math. Usually they go back when someone else is just turning it in. They're the ones that still have their paper and they're checking all their answers again, finding mistakes, fixing it. Then they turn it in and get the higher grade. They're doing more work than you. That's why they're doing better. Not because they just know how to do it and it's just magically easier for some people. That does not make any sense, right? So definitely go back and check. Like when you guys come in tomorrow, come back and check the work, check the answers. If you don't get the same thing, talk about who's right, who's wrong, try to learn from it. Do not just copy it down and say, now I have the right answer, because that doesn't help you. Remember, on the quizzes and tests, it's what you know by yourself. If you try to make it look like you know it, we're going to find out really fast that you don't. So try to put your efforts into learning, not just making them look like it. You know how that goes. Try to lie and cheat. That's not going to pay off. That's the moral of basically every Disney film. You know, right? Be yourself. You know, do the right thing. I mean, you've been told over and over and over. Most of you already know that. Like, yeah, I probably just got to do the work and it'll be fine and everything works out if you just, do the right thing. But some people still think, well, maybe I'm the one that doesn't have to. And nope. You have to redo the class next year, right? So, be careful. That's all my advice. If I can tell you anything growing up, the best thing I can tell you would be just be honest. If you're honest all the time, you don't have to remember, what you said or what you did or what you told somebody said, because it's just the truth. It's easy to remember. You don't have to think about it, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, did I plug this in right? And did you get the same thing? There's one thing that's very commonly missed, and it's right here. You notice how this is a negative, right? But the x is also negative. That's why I have minus and negative. So some people say, well, that's minus, and they just put -2. So that would be incorrect. So again, I'm just going over highlighting those few things that are commonly missed. So you can't just count this minus and this minus as one negative down here. You got to have both. So subtracting a negative is positive, and -2 times 0. Right? -1. And then anything times 0 is 0. 0 minus 1 equals. Oh, yeah, sorry. 0 to the second power is still 0. You're right. And then 0 minus 1 is -1. And I can put these equal signs here because they are the same. Equal just means they're the same. 1 minus 0, 0 minus 1 is the same as -1. Right? It's the same thing as the step above. Right? And then the very last one, box it. This is the way I know if you have different things on your paper. The one that's boxed is the one that gets graded. So you can't just put two different ways of doing it with two different answers and say, well, you pick which one's right. I don't pick. You have to pick which one's right. Okay? All right. Any other clarifications needed on the front? And I know it's review, but just in case, yeah? Yeah, tomorrow? 9. Then do it. What do you guys get for 9? 38? Who else get that? No? I also want to do different things. What do you guys get? -6? -6s? Work on it, try it again. When you guys come in tomorrow, we'll go over it more thoroughly. Okay? But I want you guys not just to get the answer, but to actually have to go back and really look at it a couple times. Alright, so this one we have to circle, go to the back, please. We have to circle where the curve, but then we have to fix it from that point on.
Oh.
Okay? Yep. If you read the directions, say you gotta fix it from that point on. So if we look through here, division first. Alright, -3, that's good. -3 times 3 is? What's -3 times 3? 9. -9. So step 2 right here, that's where it's wrong, so it should be, I'm just going to write next to it, -9 minus 1, so the answer is -10. So that's how you just X out the part that's incorrect, and you just kind of pick up where it's wrong. So the first step that's wrong, that's where you want to circle and say that. And then check from there. And it may not be wrong, so it could go all the way through, it might be right, so it really gets you, this is what you're going to do when you come in tomorrow, and you're helping somebody else, and you're looking at their work, you're going to be doing this. Like, oh, that looks right, oh yeah, right here is where it went wrong, because this should be a negative something. So this is the skill you're going to use to help other people. So, 4 times 3 is 12, good. 12 divided by 6 is 2, that's good. 2 minus 7 is -5. There's a mistake. And that's usually, I mean, I tell you, 90% of the time, when there is a mistake, it's a negative. You do all the algebra, you do all the arithmetic correct, but you miss a negative. So, that should be a negative. 2 minus 7 is -5. So, all those are now going to be wrong. And we just go from here. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. Right here, what number is in front of the parentheses? What number is in front of the parentheses? A -2. The number in front of the parentheses here is -2. Common mistake. So -2 times -5? Positive. Yeah, some people say it's 2 times -5. It's -10. That's -2 times -5. So that's a good one. Common mistake. And that's the kind of things I'm going to put on the quiz for this. It's going to be a few problems through the whole thing, but I might put something basic as just starting right here. You know, do the next step and see if you get a positive 10 or -10, and that's it. Because it's those little things that mess us up. Okay, so that's now you know. We always go over at least a few of them on the homework, and I usually go down one column and then leave the other column open for you guys to work. I'll try to put like a purpose of why we're doing this. So we didn't talk about that at the beginning, but the rest of the week, this is what you're going to do to check your work. You guys are going to be solving equations the rest of the week, and this is how you do a check. Okay? So that's why it says checking your work. You're not checking anything yet, but starting tomorrow when you solve an equation, you're going to plug your answer back in and see if you get the right number. That way you know if your answer is right or not after you finish each problem. Again, we care about accuracy, not if you can do it. Okay. All right. So go ahead and finish that up. Bring it back tomorrow.